Huck,
Who's there?
Bonnie.
Hey, Bonnie, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. Bonnie is one of our Nock Academy members. So today's going to be a great episode about Bonnie's journey through fitness, life, and everything else, I guess, that kind of comes up in our topic of discussion. But I've known you a lot longer, Bonnie. Like before the Nock Academy was created, our paths crossed quite early on in the fitness industry. In fact, I actually think you met Gareth first. If I kind of go back to our origin story, I feel like it was Gareth you met first, and then me. But anyways, we're gonna find out about your journey. So thanks for joining me,
Well,
Bonnie.
thanks for having me. This is exciting. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So why don't you kick us off then, perhaps with how you know us, and just kind of, I guess, your experiences with us, anything that you want to share, and then and we'll take it from there.
Okay, well, actually, I think I met you first,
Oh,
Nikki,
really?
when you were teaching combat on Wednesday nights at the Coxwell Gerard. I think it was Wednesday nights, or no, Fridays maybe. Anyway, or Sunday mornings. Someday you were
It could have been
teaching.
any day.
Because that's when I would do it. So you were doing it one day, and I used to take your combat classes at the Coxbow Gerard Good Life,
Oh,
and I loved you. You were the
oh, well,
best.
thanks.
She's absolutely the best combat teacher ever. Her energy level was amazing. And then Gareth would join you sometimes, team teaching, and
Right.
then you got pregnant,
Yes. Oh,
and then you
inconvenience.
stopped teaching combat, and you never came back to combat.
That is a true story. And you know what? I remember teaching combat. I was about 4 months pregnant and just being like, no, just this is not a go. And I'll keep this brief because obviously it's not really about me. But then obviously post baby, the whole evolution of the product had changed, and I was like, I don't know if I can do that anymore. Plus
Ah.
life and time constraints. But so you did. So it was me you met first through classes. I wasn't quite sure. I was like, I feel like. But anywho's, so we first met in group fitness. So
Yeah.
just to kind of explain what that is. So it's like Les Mills's version of Tybo, and that's me being quite crude and rude about it. But just to give people an understanding of what it is. So it was a group fitness class. I was
Yeah, there's
kicking
a lot of
ass.
punching, there's a lot of kicking. It's a fun class. It's to music. You don't actually hit anybody.
Yeah.
You can pretend that you're hitting
Oh,
somebody, which gets a lot of your,
all the time. Who were
all
you
the time.
pretending to hit?
Oh,
Did
I
you have
can't
anybody?
say, but a lot
Oh,
of different people.
okay, fair enough. So I was kicking ass, you were kicking ass in combat, sweating it out. That's where we met.
Yeah.
And then what happened from there? Take us from there, Bonnie.
Then, then somebody was doing the boot camp with Gareth in the mornings, twice a week, and suggested that I would like to do that. And I thought, oh yeah, okay, I would like to do that. So that's when I started to work with Gareth, and that's how I met Gareth really and got to know him. And then Gareth got another job, so he left us. And then a couple of other people took over that morning thing, and then you came in. And then it was back to you again, and it was great. And so I've been following you ever since.
Yay. So
You
so
and
if
Gareth.
I'm you've been stalking me ever since in a
I
nice
have.
way. No, that's cool. So I mean, I'm trying to put this into like a timeline. So what are we talking here? Like 8 years? Like it's been a while.
I would say combat would have been 8 years ago.
Hmm.
I don't know. I can never think of this stuff. And then maybe 5 years doing boot camp with at again Good Life at Coxwell and Gerard, and then the pandemic hit. So yeah, maybe
Hmm.
6 years doing boot camp. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. It's been a while,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of curious, and this is a question I get asked quite a bit out there by consumers, which is, why and how did you feel that you could make the switch from, let's say, the safety and security of like 40 people in a group fitness class, and you're kind of anonymous, right, to some degree, to then be like, oh, okay, I feel ready. I mean, if it was that conversation that you had, to now go into a smaller, more intimate group. and kind of, step up my game a little bit, right? Because in a smaller group, there's more attention to detail, there's more coaching. And also, just to kind of be clear, in like these boot camp sessions, when we think small group training, we're not governed by movement to music, right? So, it's you can, move at your own pace. It's more sets and reps. So for that reason, you have more time. So I guess my question is, why did you feel you were ready at that time? Was it just purely a suggestion of your friend, or did you feel you were in a place of fitness that you needed to know more?
Well, to be quite honest, I joined Good Life originally to use the weights, to get weights, because as you get older, because I bike everywhere, so my cardio is something I didn't really feel like I needed to do. So like the fitness classes, I didn't do the fitness classes at Good Life for probably about 4 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
2 years, 2 or 3 years. I was always just there for the weights and stuff because I had to bike there. I was downtown. I live in the East End, so my cardio was okay. So I didn't really feel I needed that. What I did need though, and why I joined the gym, was to use weights and to get weights and stuff. But I do find weights very boring, and I don't push myself when I'm by myself. And then I started to find I did a body pump first. So I got into body pump because I thought, oh, well, that's weights and it's in a
Hmm.
group and I can do that. So that's the first sort of group class that I did. And then the one day I decided there was a combat after the pump, and I thought, oh, I'll just do the combat now to see what it's like. And I fell in love with it because it's just so much fun.
Sure.
It's so much fun. I love it. I love the music and dancing. But then that meant that I wasn't getting the weights as much. So then I tried to do weights on my own and everything. And then when I found out about the boot camp, it was like, no, this is what I need. I need somebody who's going to make lifting weights and doing all that stuff interesting and fun and being pushed with other people around. And what I love about it too is that everybody can have their own weights. Doesn't matter if somebody's using heavier weights, if your weights are less. I tend to be very fast. You're always telling me to slow down, but that's just the way that I am. So,
Yeah.
to sort of slow down, use maybe heavier weight. If somebody is working with you and they're using a heavier weight, you might then be, okay, if you can do it, I'll try it. So it's fun, and it's an hour, it makes it go by so much quicker. And I don't find the small class, I don't like one-on-one because that's scary. I guess that's really pushing you, I guess. I don't know. I don't like one-on-one. I don't like working with one fitness instructor. I like at least two people, and then more is more fun for me. And yeah, and I just thought I needed it because as you do get older, excuse me, the your muscles start to get less. You need more weights to keep the sort of the same muscle that you've had when you were younger, because muscles do tend to, it's just harder to keep them strong, right? And my whole goal now is just to stay strong enough to make sure I've got balance, flexibility, and strength so I can be as healthy and do as much as I want to do for as long as I possibly can into my, golden years.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? Thanks for sharing that story, Bonnie. And I think a lot of people can kind of resonate with that. And I love that your intention has always been to be the best version of yourself, right? In health and fitness. But you also identify things that happen to a female body, let's be honest, that you just, to some degree, is inevitable, but you can do your best to prevent it, right? So I love that that was your initial, like, I'm going to get to the gym and I'm going to lift weights. And
I
much
would
like,
say, sorry, as opposed to
yeah,
prevent it, just slow it down.
sure thing. Yeah, absolutely. Slow down the inevitable, but yeah, but just also be body aware, because I think there's other things that come from that, right? So I know that that was your initial goal, and maybe this is something we can delve into a little deeper. What else is also, kind of come out and come to fruition once you've started training. But I love that that was your initial starting place. And let's all be honest, the gym floor can be scary, male or female. Here, let's just put that out there. There's just a lot of equipment, and then you look around, and some people look like they know what they're doing. Some people look like they're doing things that, I don't know, might kill somebody or the person next to them. Right? So you're like, I don't know. So it made sense that group fitness was the next place that you went for a little bit more guidance. Made sense that you went into pump. And of course, combat, right? Because if that is your natural style to move fast, which I know that it is, right? You're like a little crazy energizer bunny, which is awesome. And I think that's how, you feel confident in how you want to express yourself, which I love. I can see your eyes light up when I say burpees. Not many people do that, right? Most people want to punch me in the face, but Bonnie's like, ding, ding, let's go. And then I guess your curiosity and your want to get back into the resistance training, which maybe you was kind of steering away from a little bit because it's not your natural go-to, something like combat is. That's when you're like, no, 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 I need some help here. And then you took that step, right? Like, we can talk about change forever, but taking that step into change really is what I want to commend you for, because you could have just stayed over here, right, with the cardio, but you're like, no, let's get into the resistance training. And then I like to think you learn lots of different ways that you can do weight training, right? Like, there's so many different styles. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's also why you've stuck at it for so many years, is the variety as well as the accountability, right? Of being with your team. And I also noticed that you said, you kind of do a little side glance, like, what are you lifting, right? And there's that little bit of natural competition, which I think as humans we all have, right? A little bit. So, I think that story, like I said, is common. I think a lot of people make that natural progression. However, I do think some people are scared to take that next step. So what advice would you say to somebody who perhaps is, in the group fitness room, or perhaps is on the gym floor, and is uncertain of what to do next? What is that first step?
Oh, well, I would say if you're thinking about it or if you're curious, just try it. Like, it's not going to hurt because most, like, you have a trial, like you can just try it for 7 days or whatever, just to give it a shot. Because I guess it may not be for everybody. But the thing that what I think that people should know about it is that what you guys do is make it so different every time that it's fun. Like, it's not the same old routine every time. It's not the same old moves every time. You don't go to the gym and work out do the same movements. I mean, there's only certain things that a body can move and do, but they can be done in a little bit different ways that makes it A, more interesting, more fun, and B, it also makes your muscles move a little bit differently. So it's actually very rounding it all out. So I guess I would just say to people who are thinking about it or are afraid, is just give it a try. There's nothing, especially online, because all you can see is people in a little box and I can't even see them. So it doesn't really matter. All I see is Nicky, and nobody can really see you anyway. And if you really, really don't want to be seen, just turn off your camera and just watch. I mean, then, you can't get, Nicky can't then say, oh, you might be doing that a little, you can't correct you if you're doing something not it's not that it's not right, it's just that it could hurt you. You want to make sure that you're lifting properly so you don't get hurt. But you can also just turn your camera off and just do it yourself for a couple of times if you're shy or embarrassed. But I think it's great. So
Oh, well, thank
I
you.
just say do it. Just do it. Like,
Just do it. Just do it. Yeah, yeah. And I think I like that last point because, to making that step from a large group of people. I'm typically speaking pre-COVID here, of course. Making the step from a large group of people to one-on-one is a big jump, right? Like, even you might feel uncomfortable with one-on-one training, and you've been doing small group for many, many years. But I think this is that kind of sweet spot, right? Like, it's just a little bit more attention on me, but it's not all about me.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, one-on-one has its place. And for a lot of people, it's the next logical step, especially if they have a specific goal that they want to meet. So I think this is the great midpoint. But like you said, if you do want to turn your camera off for a little bit and then turn it back on, you can until you're at that point, right? But look, I'll be honest, nobody cares what everybody else is doing apart from me and your coach, Gareth or Lisa. It's kind of true, right? I think sometimes we do, through our own insecurities, especially as adults, like, oh, what if I go the wrong way? What if my weight's not good enough? What if I'm not flexible enough or strong enough? But actually, everybody else has their own inner monologue. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, because also some people's flexibility is just so good. They're just naturally more flexible than others who spend a long time trying to get it. But when you're upside down, you can't see anybody anyway. When you're
That's a
like when
true
you're
point.
trying to lift something and it's getting heavy, you're not thinking about anybody else other than I'm going to kill Nicky or Gareth, maybe. But other than that, I'm not thinking about anybody.
That's so true. And I think for a lot of us as well, it's like you said, the screen's so small. Like, I haven't got my glasses on anyway. So, like, hey, don't worry about it. You're all good to go. Oh my goodness. Hilarious, but true. So, Bonnie, I want to, if you don't mind, I want to delve a little deeper into your past and understand, how fitness has been part of your life, from a kid growing up, or maybe it hasn't been. Maybe this is something that you've stepped in a little bit later in life. So, what do you feel comfortable to share with us in regards to your own, personal fitness journey?
My fitness has been in my life as long as I can remember. My parents were very active. My dad thought being sporty and fit was very important. He had a heart attack 6 months after I was born.
Oh, wow.
And so then that sort of, brought it all really home. So he was very into what we eat and fitness and keeping your cardiovascular thing going. And my mom and him were, when they were younger, they played tennis, golf, skied. I was on skis since I was 5 years old, maybe 4 years old, because I'm the youngest of five. So I might have been like 4 when I first got on my pair of downhill skis.
Wow, that's
And then,
impressive. I can
so
barely.
it's just always been a part of my life. Then in school, I was in gym. I loved gym. I loved all this stuff. In high school, I was in gymnastics, swimming, never sort of group sports though, like was not very good at basketball. Volleyball hurt my hands. My hands are small and it hurt. When you hit the ball here and
Yes.
it hurts.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I don't want to hurt when I'm doing, yeah, I don't like that. Tennis, I love, then rollerblading and all that sort of stuff. So it's always been a part of my life. Sometimes in an unhealthy way, sometimes doing it too much, in a way that isn't very healthy. But I can't imagine a life without fitness. I don't know what people do actually who don't have fitness as a part of their daily routine. Because to me, it's what keeps me sane. It's what keeps me, if things are not going very well, I know that even if I just go for a walk, I'm going to feel better than if I don't, if I just sit and mope, because I can do that too. I do
Hmm.
love, believe it or not, lying on the couch and watching TV. I can lie on a couch for a very long time.
Really? You can do things slow, Bonnie?
I can do
I'm
I
just
can do
joking.
nothing so well, Nikki. Russ always laughs at how well I can do absolutely nothing. I
I can be good
love
at that
doing,
too. Maybe we could be bookends, either end of the
yes,
sofa.
I love doing nothing. Um, but yeah, so fitness to me is what keeps me um, just healthy, like mentally healthy and emotionally healthy, and of course, and
Mm.
physically healthy.
Yeah, of course. Do you think, just going back to what you touched on a little bit about becoming a little bit obsessed about it, I guess, at some point in your life, and you kind of touched on that unhealthy because overtraining, was that linked into because of, what happened to your father? Did you feel that was because you wanted to stay fit and healthy so you didn't become, sick or unwell, or was it a body image thing? And like, where was that kind of mental health at that point in your life?
Yeah, the being fit, especially now, is about health. But when I was in gymnastics, in high school, um, that's when, your body image, it was all body image. I just felt that I was fat and I needed to lose weight. And so, be working out all the time, doing everything, watching what I ate, and just got extremely skinny. Let's
Yeah.
just put it that way. And you're that young, and it is that you're on, you're sort of, when you're doing competitions and stuff like that, everybody's looking at your body. right? It's on, there it is. Everybody's watching it. What is it doing? What does it look like? Comparing yourself to other kids. And when you're 16, 17, 18, and it's a big thing, yeah, it was a big thing.
Yeah.
So then and it's something that I recognize in myself that I have to be aware of.
Does
That
it
my
still does it still kind of flag and flare up occasionally now,
Oh,
Bonnie? Or
yeah, not as much anymore, but for sure, throughout my whole life, it's certainly something that I've been having to struggle with, this whole body image, and I hate it. I
I
get
couldn't agree with you more. I think it is something that I well, I hope it's something now that is not as I'm gonna use the word important as it once was, because I don't think it was important then, but prevalent, I guess. And I grew up going through the dance industry. That's
ah,
actually my background, and I think the parallels between dance and gymnastics is about the way you look. People are watching you move and, be artistic through body language, essentially. And I remember the start of each term at dance school being weighed.
ah,
Here I was at like 11, 12, whatever, early teens, being weighed, and I certainly hope it's not happening now. And I'm sure that your experience was kind of similar, right? Like
oh,
it wasn't hidden. Like this was an expectation of your coach or your teacher, right?
I remember so I was what, 16 or something? So I remember my coach, who was actually really nice, a woman, but I was running around, and myself and my best friend Julie, both, when I look back, extremely thin. And she said, "Oh, look, even Bonnie and Julie have cellulite." And I'm thinking, and so then I was like looking down, going, "Where? What?"
Yes.
And oh, well, I had to get rid of whatever she thought she saw. And to say that out loud in front of a whole group of people, it was just like, and I didn't, I mean, I don't think I had any cellulite, because who does at 16? And anyway, if you do, good for you. Like, whatever. But yeah,
Who cares?
there you go.
Awesome.
So yeah, you know,
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think we can all be mindful about the words we choose,
oh
not just
yes.
around adults, like even children. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I'm even mindful of the words I choose with her. Like only yesterday, this is true, I got her a new pair of like leggings, tights, and they were a bit big around the waist. And I was like, "Oh, look at you, Slim Jim."
Oh,
And then I had to check myself. I was like, no, that's not right. That's not okay to say. Slim Jim is exactly the same as saying, fat whatever or large this. Like there is no place for these comments, and I think we all just have to check that. In fact, I did a great episode with Beth Yarzab about that. Just checking in with our conscious and unconscious biases and the things that we say out loud. And I think it is hard for us to some degree because we were brought up in
mhm.
a culture where that was kind of okay. So I can only hope now that we can be the change makers, right? And educate the next generation to say, no, that's not okay to say those things. Or if you are concerned about somebody, pull them to one side at least and just have a caring conversation. Don't shout it across the gym floor, right?
Yeah. Oh, I never, ever, around I have little nieces and nephews and other kids that I'm around, never, ever mention anybody's body, anything. It's just like, it's not, I mention if they're fit, like we do a lot of stuff together and they're strong and that they can, and I get them doing like circuits when we're outside and
Oh, I
we do
love
all this
that.
kind of stuff,
Yes.
but not, it's just for fun. And I comment about how, like it's competition a little bit, but I don't ever want to mention my weight, how I feel in something, or say something about anybody else's body weight. And I try to do that not only around little kids, but around anybody. And it's hard, because if somebody has lost weight, clearly they've done it because they want to. And then it's one of those things that you say, "Oh, wow, you look great. You lost weight." Because that itself is saying like, "Well, you didn't look good before." Like,
That's so
so, but
true.
you want to acknowledge that I'm thinking if somebody's lost weight, it's because they want it to, and that they've put some effort into it. So you want to acknowledge that the commitment it took to do that, and the work it took. So way to go. But then to acknowledge it also almost makes it seem like, well, what did you think of me before then? If you didn't think I look good now. So that's a hard one for me now, how to navigate when somebody has done something different and has changed their body in a way that, is it's do you say something or do you not?
Yeah, it really is. It's challenging. I completely agree with you. And, certainly in this industry where, if I'm talking from a client perspective rather than a friend perspective, that might be what it's about, right? So
Mm,
you want to encourage, but also you don't want to, say something that is inappropriate. So
mhm,
there is that fine balance. But I like the fact that you said, maybe we should acknowledge the effort that was behind it, or the intent that was behind it, rather than the physical outcome.
mhm.
Just
Maybe.
kind of thinking out loud here, right? Like, but it's hard, knowing what to say, and but also understanding where perhaps somebody has come from in the past. Do you know what I mean? Like, now we know a little bit more about you, Bonnie. So, understanding that, you had some issues, I guess, with body awareness when you were younger. If I had said the wrong thing, um, that could have, triggered you, and unfortunately, sent you into some
Mhm.
not very nice headspace. So I think we have to be mindful of that as well. It's not just in the moment. It's, are we bringing up feelings and emotions from the past, and then are we somehow affecting what their future might look
Yes.
like. So I think our words are extremely powerful, not just in the fitness industry, but I think amongst family and friends.
Oh, yeah. Family can be horrible.
In some ways, family, I think, can be more tricky, right? Because as family members, I think you feel like sometimes you have permission, right? I'm my daughter's mom. I have permission to say that. No, no, I don't. That's not my body, right? I have permission
Mm,
to look after her and make sure she's safe 100%.
yeah.
So yeah, it is a tricky area, but I want to say thank you for sharing that with us,
Mhm.
and being vulnerable, and and hopefully these conversations help other people, whether it's male or female, to feel a little bit more comfortable in what to say, and how to approach that, and how we can make change. But also potentially, if you are somebody that is in that headspace, how you can also make change, right? And hopefully make a step forward to get into a more happy, secure headspace. What was a shift for you, Bonnie? What helped you?
That's a good question. Well, my friend ended up in the hospital because of that. So that one that I said that was my best friend. So yeah,
Yeah.
she ended up in the hospital, and so I think that sort of was a bit of an eye opener because could have gotten close myself. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
that was an eye opener, and I guess just uh, I kind of well, then I got a little older, and then I stopped gymnastics, and then I started partying a little bit. When I turned 18
And other
and
things
stuff,
became
and
more important. Yes, I
yeah,
get
my
that.
focus switched a little bit, and then it was kind of like, wow, really? I used to do that. Okay, but then that's kind of it. So you just, I guess I grew out of it in one sense, but it was always, it's, it's been in the back of my mind. It's back there.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's true. And I think we do, right? We carry those life lessons with us, right? Even though with, perhaps our headspace is somewhere else, right? Drinking and partying at university or whatever. It's always with us. And I think it's how you then indulge in that self-talk, right? And moving
yeah,
forward. So now, you said that your shift is now about being the best version of yourself, and getting strong, and being as healthy as you can as you move into um, your older years, right? So I think that's great that you've kind of shifted that narrative, and now it's about making sure that you stay fit and healthy, and I'm sure to keep up with your nieces and nephews, right? I bet they love it when Auntie Bonnie comes to visit. Do you give them burpees? That's the question that I want to.
oh my God, my nephew, Jonah, loves burpees. And he had his family on they had to do 500 burpees in a month or something like that. I don't know. He loves burpees. He does burpees. We do plank competitions. He's 6. And so we will do like we'll both of us do plank competition, not competitions, but we'll hold it for like a minute or 2 minutes. He will send me, because now they've moved to Brooklyn, but they send me he started over the pandemic creating fitness routines for the family, for his family, and then they would record it and then send it to us, and then we'd have to do these fitness routines. He also did a couple of times we've done yoga with him on, like, he's instructing us. Oh my God, it's the funniest thing. Now
How
breathe
wonderful.
and in and out. And anyway, so he's great. And my other one, Elodie, she's also, we've when I would take them to the park just to we would get routines going, and then I would time them, and then all this sort of stuff.
Oh, this is so wonderful. I think that, there's nothing more rewarding than doing something as a family, right? As a team. Because like you mentioned at the very beginning when we started chatting, right? Like it's cool to be with people and you're engaged and you're accountable and you're committed, and
Yeah.
it's so much fun, and we really encourage that as fitness professionals and as a company. Like, get out there with your family. Like, what can you do as a family to help you with your fitness goals, but also to, just spread positivity amongst your family. Like, we know moving is good for you. We know moving is good for you physically and mentally. And how wonderful that that little guy wants to take control and is creating all these things.
He's
I
so
think I think there might be a job here for him if he wants one.
No, he's very good. He's very funny. And skiing, although I know it can be expensive for people, although, secondhand skiing is a great thing to do with a family, downhill skiing, because you can all go down the same hill, but everybody takes the hill at a different pace. And you get to spend the day together, you're outside. So I love the fact that they're all skiing now as well. And we get
Nice.
to ski together too. So that's another beautiful thing. But yeah, anything that you love to do together and you can do together, I think is fun, especially until they turn teenagers. Things might change, but at least try to do it now when you can.
Well, that's it, right? And like we mentioned, those create habits, and
Yes.
mental health, memories, and I guess a set of values and traditions to carry through with you with life, right? And I think, that's where we can really make an influence,
Yes.
um, and help ourselves along the way as well, right? Like it's
Oh,
good.
for
It's
sure.
it's just good for the
I
soul.
respect people who never worked out when they were younger or in their teens or even 20s. Some people start in their 20s to start working out, or 30s, because they really have to trust that they're working out is going to be beneficial to them, that they're actually going to feel better, even though while they're doing it, especially at first, it might not feel very good. You might be in pain. So you have to believe
Mhm.
and trust other people to tell you that no, actually it's going to get easier. No, actually you're going to start feeling better. Because if it's been part of your life the whole time, you kind of know. It's like, yeah, I know, even though on a day when I'm not feeling like I want to exercise, I just know that never once have I went, ah, shit, I shouldn't have worked out today.
Yep, it's so true.
I have said, "Oh shit, why didn't I work out today?" Or, but I've never sort of said, "Oh wow, I wish I didn't do that class." Or, I mean, literally, you always feel better, even if you didn't do great. It doesn't matter, but I always feel better, even if it's only 15 minutes, even if I can just get 15 minutes in or whatever. I know that I'm going to feel better. But if you don't
100%.
have that experience, it must be tough. And so I really respect people who take it on later in life and go for it.
Yeah, I do. I do completely agree with you, right? Learning a whole new skill set, especially at an earlier age, right? Not as a kid, because as a kid, we're not scared to fail,
No.
right? We're like, whatever. I'm a superstar, So as an adult, that's a real challenge. So I completely agree with you. Much respect. And then you're learning and discovering your body for the very, very first time. I've always been active as a child. You've been active as a child, so you already kind of know where your body is in time and space. You might already know what a squat is, what a lunge is, and the benefits and the things behind that. But learning it for the first time is really tricky. And also I think coming back to it after a while away,
Yes.
shifting your mindset can be tricky. But I like that you touched on, even just small bits of fitness makes such a difference to your physical and mental health. And, in our scheduling at the Nock Academy, we have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 and an hour, because we get it, right? Like life, we get it. We're we're a family with a kid and a dog and everything that's going on, right? So we understand that finding time for yourself is challenging, whether it's a family or a career, or you're looking after somebody else. This Everyone has this something. So little bite-sized pieces, I think, are really, really important. And then just scheduling that in your day
Yes.
first and everything else around it. So you're kind of nodding along with me. Is this how you kind of like plan out your day, Bonnie, when it comes to fitness?
Oh yeah. Yes, for sure. It's just it's part of like it's just that's I know my schedule of when I'm going to work out. Sometimes of course, life, work, whatever takes you just can't.
Sure.
But what I love about being able to work out online, I never thought I would like to work out online. Because I've always been a gym person and going to the physical gym and stuff. But what I love about working out online is that um I'm already here. Like I just get up from my computer and go there, or I can do it in the morning because of, especially with Nock Academy, you've got the early mornings, you got the lunchtime, and you got after work. So that if I know I can't do something after or at lunch, I can do it early morning. If I got something planned early morning, I can do it at lunch. So, and it doesn't take a lot of time. It's not like I have to take a half an hour to get to the gym,
Sure.
do it, and a half an hour to get home, or 15 minutes. Even that is, it's like, no, we're talking minute. Like, so a 30-minute workout is really 30 minutes. That's how much time it's going to take out of my day, or 31 maybe, because 1 minute beforehand, 1 minute afterwards.
Sure.
Um, so it's so, or an hour is an actual hour. So that's fantastic. But I do schedule, and my friends know that, no, if I'm going to do something, I say, yeah, I'm working out that time. I can meet you afterwards. This is my time to work out. I can meet you after, or we'll do it on a different day. And it's like, yeah, it's just part of it. Is just, that's how it is.
And good for you, because I think sometimes we feel guilty about putting ourselves first
Oh,
and saying that. You're like, no, I don't. And good for you. But this is what I'm saying. A lot of people are like, oh, well, that's selfish of me to say, oh, well, I can't meet you for coffee now because I'm doing my workout. I'll catch you after. When actually I think it's the complete opposite. I think self-care has to come first to be the best version of yourself for all the other reasons as well that we've mentioned, Bonnie. And then you go meet your friend, right? Like I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that's a great little tidbit for somebody perhaps who, is like, how do I fit this in? Schedule it in first. And I think as long as you have great conversations with your friends, then they should
well,
be
I can't
supporting
see
you.
a friend who would be upset that you're working out and you're going to meet
Agreed.
them, instead of at 1, you're going to meet them at 2. Like, I would kind of go, well, and I think so my friends all understand, and a lot of them work out. If they don't, they just know that's who I am. So that's an acceptance part of, that's what Bonnie does. And I think for family and younger people, they get to see that, no, this is a commitment and this is part of your life. And this is something that you can take into your life no matter what age you are. And that for parents, especially because of the stress, and you got the kids to look after, you got work and other stuff, you have to take time for yourself, or you're not going to be able to be there. Like, you can see the stress building, and you need to get away from that and to look after yourself. And I think you're teaching your kids a really good lesson by showing them that, no, this is important. Yourself is important. So that gives them the, you're then giving them the space to be able to say, no, I want to do this now, or I need to do this for myself, or I that we respect each other's autonomy,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
Let's give you a round of applause. I love
um,
that. And even better, you could say to your friend, well, why don't you work out with me first?
well, well, there's that.
And then
I
we'll
do,
go.
since the pandemic, because I did get Les Mills online because Good Life gave it to us for free for the first month when the pandemic.
Yeah, that
And
was
then I have
amazing.
that online as well. So there are some friends that I work out with in the mornings and a couple of them in some evenings that that we that's a way that we've been able to stay in touch and to see each other on a weekly basis during the pandemic is working out together. Now we love it. Now we have that sort of as ways of being together instead of going for a coffee. You know, it's just like, yeah, well, now we get to see each other online. We work out, and then I get to see them other times as well. But it's really lovely. So I like that.
Yeah, and I think that's great that, during the pandemic, I think we all did look for unique ways, right? That we could still reach out and be with friends.
Yes.
And, the online space is a lot different and evolved a lot in the past. Where are we? Like nearly 2 years. Not just the fitness industry, but I think everything that you're available to do. But I think also people are more accepting of it now. I think a
Hmm.
lot of people were fearful of online, but now it's become an addition, right?
Hmm.
It's as well as, I could meet my friends online and I could meet them in person.
Yes.
And that's a huge part of why we created what we created. So I love that it's really, the Nock Academy really has complemented what's already going on in your life and is a really welcomed addition.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So thank you for that.
it's been, thank goodness you guys came online. Well, I know that you came online originally sort of with the boot camp, sort of continued onto the line. And then starting of this Nock Academy has been for me, I love it. I just think it's great. I love the different variety of classes that you offer. I love the fact that I get to see some people, wave in my
Yeah.
little box with them. But I do love the convenience of it. Oh my God. And now that you're also doing the videos that you can then, even though I hate HIT, so I love HIT and I hate HIT at the same time.
I think that's
It
everybody.
it kills me. It literally kills me. So, um, I love the fact that if I can't do one or a couple during the week, or whatever, at the time that it's being offered, now you have the video, so I can do that by myself. Hard one to do by myself, though,
It
because it's easier
is.
to be pushed by when somebody, and somebody's watching you. It's a lot easier to keep going than when nobody's really watching. So, do I really need to do? Okay, yes, I do. It's it's harder to get started. The other ones tend to be a little easier for me. But I love that. So the convenience of it and the variety of it is brilliant. Love it.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yep, and that was a huge part of meeting people where they're at. The live experience, like you said, somebody actually watching you and holding you accountable even, um, is epic, right? Like that's gonna push you. But having the on-demand video library is there as well, should you miss a session. And I think, right there is the very subtle difference about online fitness. You can copy do a video and there's nothing wrong with that, but having somebody there to live to coach you is going to be like that next level, right? It's going to really make sure that you're paying attention, that you're committed, and you're going to do the work. And then of course there's live in person, which has its place too. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful that there's these choices.
But I do like not having to get to the gym to get my spot, to not have somebody about to kick me or somebody clanking a thing down and not wiping off their quick. There's a part of me that I never thought that I would, but there's a part of me is like, oh yeah, that the smell, I don't know. So I'm very much enjoying. I
You're
may go,
enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it
That's
tremendously.
great. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Um, so you mentioned scheduling fitness into your life, and you're busy. So tell us, Bonnie, what are you doing, full time in your life, and how does perhaps fitness complement what you're doing?
Yeah. Well, I have a company called Moxie Productions. It's a video production company. So we do music videos, short films. We also do corporate videos. We do educational videos. We do live music events, things like that. So when I'm out filming, it's a very physical
Mm-hmm.
um, job because there's a lot of equipment. And then when you're filming, it's like you got a camera, you got lights, you got all that sort of stuff, and you're on your feet for 12 hours a day. If I'm filming something like a corporate video or a film or something, it's very strenuous. So I find that doing strength, keeps me strong enough to do it. Doing a lot of the yoga that I do with you and the stretching and flexibility keeps me flexible, because sometimes you got to get into, to get the right shot, you got to get into these weird kind of positions, and that I can do it and not feel too bad, and then I know how to also stretch myself out just to make sure that I don't get injured and stuff, because it's all about injury prevention and keeping strong. So I do that. I'm also an actor, and I also direct too. So in the video production company, I do a lot of directing, and I'm an actor, and I do a lot of editing. So when after I film things, I have to sit at my computer for hours on end editing things. So that's where I'm at the computer a lot. And I also do other editing jobs that maybe I didn't film them myself, but people are giving it to me to edit for them. So that takes up a lot of my day. So that means that I'm at my desk more um, than I have been in the past jobs that I've done. And I'm not biking as much, because I'm not going downtown as much, because it's not as, a lot of my jobs are, if I'm not actually filming, I'm doing them online. So there's just not as much. So I'm tending to do more classes during a day. I might do two different class, like one in the morning and one in the evening or something, or at lunch and then an evening class or whatever, just to make up for the lack of movement that is no longer part of my daily
Yeah.
life, sort of. So I've got to put it in there. Then I also have a show called Snack. It's called
Snack.
Snack.
I like snacks.
Snack, the show. It's I do it with two other people, two co-hosts, Andrea Lyons and Jorge Molina. They're both actors as well. And it's a snack, so it's a 4-minute interview show that we're trying to highlight, and not trying to, we are highlighting Canadian talent. And that's basically of everything: musicians, actors, directors, showrunners. Well, we'll have you on soon. Nock
So I'm
Academy.
pointing at myself if you're not watching this on video.
And it's just it's fun. You can check it out. It's on YouTube. Not snacktheshow.com. And we've had some great people on. We've had Anthony Q. Farrell, who wrote for The Office. He's also got a new show on called The Anderson and Parkers, and a new one coming up on Gem called The Overlord and the Underwoods. That's a cool show. Who else we've had on? We've had Susan Coyne on, who is the creator of Slings and Arrows and wrote the film The Man Who Invented Christmas. We had on David and Irene, the creators of Come From Away, the musical.
Oh.
So we've had a number of people on who are great. They're funny. Today we have one coming out. They drop every Wednesday, and this is being recorded on Wednesday. So we have Brittle Star. If you haven't followed him on Instagram or Twitter, you should really start following him. He's funny, he's Canadian, and he's great. Brittle Star. So yeah, so it's a great. So those things keep me occupied.
Oh, for sure. There's so many spinning plates there, but
Yeah, yeah.
fun, right? And I love the diversity of how, you're out in the field and you're active, but then also, finding some quiet time to, be at your desk and do your editing. But I think a lot of people can also relate. We're now at home working a lot more than we ever have.
Mhm.
Right. And I think sometimes we can just get lost in our bubble, then hours can go by and you're like, I haven't moved. I feel like crap, my lower back and my hips. Right. So, stepping away, which is, I guess, what you were saying when you said, at lunch, I get up and I move just to get out of that position, right? And then come back and, I guess, feel refreshed, and continue with your
And
editing.
continue, yeah. I do. I'm also a writer, so I write too. And I sometimes, if I'm, especially when I'm editing or writing, time can fly by if you're really in the good zone and stuff. So I have to set my phone alarm for every hour. So at least I stop and just get up and stretch and walk and go up the stairs and come down the stairs, so that I don't realize, because if I don't, 2.5 hours, 3 hours go by, and it's like, yeah, I haven't moved. And I have a neighbor who has a dog. I love dogs. I can't have one, but I have a neighbor who has a dog. So I walk their dog about 3 times a week, just at lunchtime, so that it gives me an excuse to get up and get outside. And when I'm working a lot from home, then I do it then. So Dory is the dog's name, and I love it. So yes, I'll be walking Dory today.
I love doggies too. I love doggies too. But there you go. Another tip from Bonnie. That's amazing. Set an alarm. Get up and do it. Whether it's just running up and down the stairs, I don't know, a couple of times just to get moving, just to get out of that,
Yeah,
that static
this
position. And it's that, right, that we need to try and get out of as much as we can. We human beings are not designed to be stationary. Our body craves movement. So if we're in one position for an extended period of time, we've got to counteract that and move. So setting the timer for a little snack bite. Maybe they can watch your YouTube snack for 4 minutes while they're doing some mobility drills or something. I think
exactly.
that would be really great. Or they can get up and walk the dog and listen to our podcast.
Oh, that
I'm
would be a
going
good
here.
idea.
And then they can listen to your podcast while they're walking their dog. It's just brilliant.
It's so good.
It's so good. Oh, man. Do you know what, Bonnie? Thanks so much for joining me today. I've had so much fun talking with you. Thank you for sharing your story with everybody. Thank you for being very honest and vulnerable about your journey. And then those wonderful little insights and tidbits on how, you can make change and you can make a difference. So I'm going to ask you one last question to sign it off today. What is your favorite exercise? Go.
Oh,
Or movement.
My favorite exercise or movement? I do like, well, can I say 2, 3? I like deadlifts. I like squats.
Deadlift.
And I
Okay.
do like burpees.
Deadlift, squats, and burpees.
Yes.
All together?
No, but
Well,
I like those exercises.
Well, I guess technically a burpee kind of has all 3 movements, right? You deadlift to the ground, you jump back
Oh,
in,
yeah.
you squat to stand up.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Now you can have 3 moves. I'm cool with that. Is there anything else that you want to add in, Bonnie, before we sign off for our podcast today?
I don't think we'll just get up and move. Find something you love to do and just keep doing it because you'll feel better.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yes, I love that. That's a great note to finish the session on. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to us or watching us on YouTube. Make sure that you follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. All of the links are going to be in the session notes. I'll also include the links to Bonnie's production company and obviously Snack Time, so you can check out more of what Bonnie does. After you've listened to our podcast, go ahead, give us a 5-star review, show us the love, tell more people about the podcast. It's great to talk. It's great to have these discussions around fitness, health, and well-being. Until next time, everyone, thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.